All right. Well, seeing that we have a quorum, I'd like to call the meeting to order. We are hybrid, so we've got Priya on Zoom and we're here. So we're going to do a roll call vote. Priya, I'm always going to start with you and then we'll just work our way around the table. So Priya.
Present.
Fabulous. Wes.
Present.
Dave.
McKinnon present.
Hilberg present. All right. We're going to jump right into it. I was supposed to note the time. It is 7:04. So it was probably 7:03 when we called the meeting to order. All right, first up, announcements. Transfer station. The transfer station is now accepting applications for FY24 transfer station stickers, which are valid July 1st through June 30th. Payments are available online or at the town clerk's office. If you'd like to pay online, you visit the town website, you go to Department, Public Works, and then Transfer Station. Everything you need to know will be there. The Boxbury Museum at 575 Middle Road will be open from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, July 9th. Come see Boxborough's historic treasures, including the 1850s scale, which is sensitive enough to weigh a penny and strong enough to calibrate a 50-pound weight. The new hearse, built in 1881, and the old hearse. Come and see how old it is. Admission is free and all are welcome. For more information or if anyone wishes to arrange a private tour for a small group at a different time, please call John Fallon at 978-264-0069. I highly recommend a visit. There's a lot of really fun, cool things in there, and you're going to see names that match streets, that match families. It's fun. If you have a concern about an item that's not listed on the agenda, please raise it during citizens input. We've moved that to the beginning of the meeting to make it a little easier for people to come and to participate. In order to allow input from all citizens, each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes during that time. While the board will be unable to discuss or deliberate on topics not posted on the agenda, necessary actions will either be forwarded to the appropriate operational department for action or posted on a future agenda for discussion by the board. If you have a question or comment about an item that is on the agenda, you'll be recognized after the board members have had an opportunity to get their questions answered. Maybe we'll answer yours. You never know. Due to time constraints, the board may not be able to get to everybody on all topics, but we'll do our best. Please wait to be recognized by the chair, which is me, before addressing the board. This is a forum for public input, questions, and criticism. We do ask that all participants be respectful and civil. And thank you all for being here tonight. Okay, we'll move right into board and administrator comments and reports. So we'll start with Michael. Anything to report?
I have 2 things to report. And the first is, as you all know, we've been working on the water intermunicipal agreement with the town of Littleton and the town of Boxborough. All 3 entities have signed, approved the intermunicipal agreement. Those entities being the town of Boxborough, the town of Littleton, and the Littleton Water Department. The water department, as well as the town of Littleton, had their votes last week, and the final document will be coming to us probably in the next week for signature for all 3 entities. And the second thing I have to announce is there has been some crack sealing going on around town on roads that need maintenance. That's something that we do as a cost-effective way to preserve roads that aren't quite ready to be milled and repaved. But it prevents water intrusion from getting down in and disrupting underneath and causing potholes. So I'm going to name a couple of the roads that have been having some crack sealing. And this is a process by which the DPW or a contracted entity comes by and sprays out the cracks in the road to get any dirt and debris out of there so that then they can come by and pour in a sealant. And then on top of that, they spray on something that keeps the car's tires from sticking to and ripping up the sealant. Roads that have been getting this recently are Burroughs Road, Kendall Road, Liberty Square Road, Middle Road, Depot Road, and Waite Road. So this is a way to prolong the life of these roads. It is a way that we can extend some of our road maintenance money as we, move into the cycle of when we go ahead and mill and pave. So I had requested the DPW director to give me an update that I could share with the town. I have that. It's a 1.5 page memo detailing exactly what goes into the process and how we get the best value out of the town's road maintenance money. I'll be posting this to the website so that anyone can read the details and see that the DPW and the road maintenance money is being used very wisely. So thank you. That's all I have.
Awesome. So just as an aside, I happen to see a Nextdoor post about people being concerned about Depot Road and how the cracks had been repaired. And I brought it to Michael's attention. I am not on social media all that often. I just happened to see that one and it said Depot Road. So I popped on it. Anybody watching right now, if you have concerns, feel free to come to us. We'll answer your questions. We'll do our best to help you. Social media isn't always the best way to get the answer to your questions. So this is just an example of how this board is going to approach these things. If I see something, or if anyone else on the board sees it, we're going to bring it forward and work through it. Okay. Now, one of the questions I will say on Nextdoor was that we were spending tens of thousands of dollars. So did Ed happen to mention how much we spend to do this? Because I would like to. I'm sure it is tens, but I just don't know how many tens.
Sure. So for this year, there's a program called WRAP, which stands for Winter Recovery Assistance Program, by which the Mass Department of Transportation spreads money around the state. For the town of Boxborough, we received just shy of $113,000 for road maintenance, and that's in addition to our Chapter 90 money. So some of that, not all of that is used for crack sealing, but some of it is. And then other money is used to actually use, longer term fixes.
Okay, awesome. So same thing. If anyone else sees something on Nextdoor, Facebook, Insta, whatever, and you think it's something the board should address, please bring it forward so we can get you the information. Any committee reports or input? Priya, anything? No? All right.
So the Paul Philibrown or Chief Philibrown had a great retirement party, and I think they're doing a send-off this week.
Thursday.
For him as well, Thursday. So typically he gets driven home. But if anybody on the board is available to attend, and even if it's pouring rain, I'm sure we'll figure
It
something.
probably will be pouring rain based on this week. Yeah, I was sad to miss the retirement party. I was out of town, but it was a nice party.
Yeah, it
Good.
was very enjoyable.
Oh, that's awesome. We're going to miss him.
That just reminded me of one other important thing, and that is that we've been waiting for engine 62 to arrive. It will be arriving tomorrow. And so Chief Philibrown will be getting his last ride home in his brand new engine 62. We typically get 17 years out of an engine. So that will be arriving tomorrow. And I believe they announced that his ride home will be about 4:30 on Thursday afternoon. So anybody interested in that can be out in front of the fire station and wish the chief a happy and safe retirement.
That is awesome. Nice.
Right.
Awesome. Got anything?
Nothing to report.
Me either. I got nothing. All right. Then we're going to go right into approving. Anybody else have anything they want to bring up right now? Rajan or Kelly, anything? You're good? Thumbs up? Okay. All right. Let's move right into approval of the regular session minutes of July 12th, 2023. I almost said 1923. Oh. Anybody, everyone have a chance to read them?
Yes, I did.
Any edits or amendments that you'd like to suggest? Anybody?
None for me. So I'll move to approve the regular session minutes of 6/12/2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Excellent. All right. Roll call vote. Priya?
Sundaram, I.
Wes?
Folks,
Dave?
McKeon and I.
Hilberg, aye. Thank you very much for typing those up and getting them all together for us. All right, we're going to move right into new business. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is a little mea culpa and an apology for a breach of the open meeting law. Mike will take it from there, but I do take responsibility because I review the agenda, and the FinCom was meeting with us, and I didn't process that both boards needed to post a meeting. So I do take responsibility for that and pledge to do better in the future.
So thank you for taking the blame off of me and onto you.
It is,
But-
hey. Here.
But honestly, I should have realized, I did know that we were having a meeting for 3 particular items on the agenda where we were going to be meeting jointly with the Finance Committee. They had posted on their agenda that they would be meeting jointly with us. We posted that we would be doing these 3 agenda items, and I failed to, note that it would be a joint meeting. So while I think this is a very minor violation, it is technically a violation of the open meeting law, because what we want to do is be as transparent and open with the public on what it is we're going to be discussing. And while we did note the 3 different areas that we would be discussing, we didn't say on our agenda that we would be discussing with the Finance Committee. So for the action requested of the complainant is the select board should apologize at its next open meeting and promise to secure open meeting law training for its members and for the town administrator. The board should also make a plan to access competent legal advice in the future. So we're working on a plan for the training. And I think you just heard the apology from the 2 of us publicly, and you'll see that this evening's meeting where we will be talking over some things with the Finance Committee, we have noted that as a joint meeting.
And Rajan will tell you, he sent me the website. I told him I'm old, I need paper. He printed it for me and I've highlighted relevant sections. So if anybody wants proof, I am doing my homework, I promise. So, alrighty.
So just a question. I know, was it last year or the year before KP Law did a class? I don't know if we recorded it or not. We did.
I heard Kirby say we did.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could just disseminate that.
So we'll send the link to that training around to the board.
Awesome. We will do better. We promise.
Kristen?
All right. Next we have. Oh, I'm sorry, Priya.
No, Dave and I attended the training for new select board members where they covered that. Will that be can that be considered as part of training or?
Oh, absolutely. You went to the MMA training?
Yeah.
That was like 8 hours, wasn't it?
Well, not just by the open meeting law, but there was quite a bit of discussion related to that.
The law firm, I think they talked about that one, right? The attorney that came from
Whomever presented. Yeah, I don't remember.
who presented. Yeah.
They did have a presenter scheduled at that session to talk about open meeting law. So the 2 of you that went to that will be covered. I will be doing the training that's recorded and I'll send it to everyone else.
Perfect. I think we could probably send it out to all boards and commissions. It's always, it applies to everybody.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. Priya, do jump in. If I don't see the raise hand, please do exactly what you just did. So I'll get better at that too. Okay, our next item of business is a presentation by our police chief. The SPCP, Strengthening Police and Community Partnership. And I believe Derek Dean is here to support that presentation. You guys want to come on up? We're friendly today.
While they're getting set up, have we in the past, Wes, you would know best probably, have we done a motion in the past for an open meeting law violation?
Yes, so typically we would say I move to authorize the town administrator to respond on behalf of the select board.
Okay, and to distribute the training?
Really? We have to make a
I don't
motion?
think we need to have a motion for that, but
Okay.
typically it's just to respond because either we have to or delegate the response
Okay,
or to the complaint.
so if you would want to make a motion and vote on
Yeah.
that, then I'll take the action.
1 second. So I'll move to authorize the town administrator to respond on the select board's behalf to the open meeting law complaint.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call vote, Priya.
Sundaram, I.
Wes,
Folks, aye.
Dave,
McCann and I.
Hilberg, aye. All right, ready?
Yes, good evening. John Shevchik, Chief of Police here in Boxborough. I'm here today to introduce 2 individuals I invited here tonight from the Department of Justice. First is Derek Dean, Mr. Dean,
Welcome.
and the second is Carl Jageris.
Welcome.
Mr. Dean's the lead conciliation specialist at the Department of Justice. his official title, and conciliation specialist is the title for Mr. Jagaris. I reached out to Mr. Dean about 2 months ago when I saw some amazing work he did in the town of Williamstown, right here in Massachusetts, and he did a lot of community building, a lot of strengthening the partnerships between the police department, between the public. So I invited him to come here today. There's a program run by the Department of Justice called Strengthening Police and Community Partnerships. And it's all throughout the country, but certainly been utilized right here in Massachusetts. So I invited them to come here today and talk a little bit about the program. And, they'll get more into the details about it, but it really, on the face of it, how can we talk about police relations with the community in a controlled environment? Not on social media, but in a controlled environment with trained facilitators, and really get dialogue moving forward on what the police department does great, which is a lot of great things they do, and where we can improve as anybody can improve. So I'll hand it over to them and they can talk a little bit about this program.
Okay, if we go to the next slide, that would be great. Again, my name is Carl Jagaris, and Derek Dean is here behind me. And what I want to do is I want to share a little bit about the division of the Department of Justice that we work with, and that's called the Community Relations Service. Then I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the program, the Strengthening Police and Community Partnerships. Then I'm going to hand it over to Derek, who has facilitated the program many times successfully. He's going to tell you a little bit more about how it's done. We're very glad that the police chief reached out to us and shared some of the challenges that exist within the town. And we believe that this program is really a good fit to help facilitate community engagement for the community. So first off, our division of Department of Justice was created in 1964 as a part of the Civil Rights Act. As you can see, there's President Lyndon Johnson signing that. And we were created as the federal government's peacemaker to go into areas of community conflict, whether that's large scale, small scale, but to help make improvements. And if we can go to the next slide, that'd be great. And then more recently in 2009, our services expanded under the Hate Crimes Prevention Act to represent, as you can see, all of the different gender identity, sexual orientation, religion, disability, race, color, national origin. We can go to the next slide. And so the services that we provide are facilitation, mediation, consultation, and training. In the case of Boxborough, what we're discussing is the potential facilitation, convening parties in dialogue to identify community issues that are relevant right here, and then to have your stakeholders work towards presenting solutions to ultimately create an opportunity for improvement in community relations with the police department and the community. We can go to the next slide. Okay, to the program that we offer, Strengthening Police and Community Partnerships. As you can see, it provides the opportunity to improve communication, ensuring that voices are given to all representatives of the community, and a focus on problem solving. So not only identifying the problem, but working towards collective solutions. Collective solutions are likely to sustain. And that process naturally builds trust over time and relationships. So we would seek to bring people together that have a common interest in improvement in community relations and to work towards achieving improvement in all those areas. It's a collaborative process that we identify the issues, talk about solutions, prioritize, and then also come up with a plan of action and create what's called a SPCP council. So amongst a varied group of stakeholders that would operate in an advisory capacity to support the chief of police and city officials as they move forward and make decisions related to the future of policing for Boxborough. Prevent and respond, community distrust, historical tensions, police community conflict, critical incidents. Those are all areas that often bring us into communities to provide these services. And I think that you would agree that there are some issues that would provide an opportunity, a forward-focused, solutions-focused opportunity towards improvement. So if we can go to the next slide. And some of the goals, like I mentioned, improve trust and develop partnerships between law enforcement officers and the diverse communities that they serve. It's very clear that there is a very diverse community, and it's an emerging diverse community in that there are a lot of new residents or even new citizens of the U.S. that are here in Boxborough. So engage local law enforcement and community leaders in dialogue to identify issues and solve problems collaboratively. Really, we want to help facilitate a process that opens the door where everybody is comfortable to bring their concerns forward so that you have the opportunity to effectively address those. Our goal would be to help local leaders address longstanding community distrust issues, regardless of where the distrust comes from or the roots of that. It's important to engage community, seek their solutions so that you can have an effective response. So increase local capacity, develop partnerships, and develop local solutions to local problems. So we would be here in an advisory capacity. We're not here to tell anybody what to do. We're here to share best practices and, again, facilitate your community members to basically empower the overall community to make the best decisions moving forward. So next slide, please. When is SPCP most effective? When communities have demographic shifts, which again, I think that we have an ongoing emerging demographic shift occurring as we speak in many places in the US, but definitely Boxborough as well. Active conflicts resulting from an incident. Our slide says such as a controversial police shooting that have led to a public outcry. Now we have a different issue here that has led to some maybe some public division regarding the current status or the recent historical status of the police department. So latent police community conflicts and history that impact trust and partnership. So trust is the foundational component of success when policing a community. If you don't have solid trust established, it's very hard to achieve other goals. And so really that's what we would want to do, is to assist with that. And the next slide, please. Oh, and actually, would you go back one slide? At the bottom there, it talks about when communities or new police leadership want to implement proactive community engagement and problem solving. So you obviously have a great opportunity right in front of you. You have you have a police chief that has a high skill set and a high desire, and you have a renewed council and a new town administrator. So there's just a lot of positive energy to create an effective path forward. So, and next slide. So an SPCP would be involving many people throughout the community, and we would work very closely with the community here to identify who would be the right representatives of each of these groups: civil rights groups, law enforcement, youth, other community groups, community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, and city and county officials, and volunteer residents in general. So bringing the right people together so that they can, as this process moves forward, influence their circle of influence and really truly have extended community engagement in the process. And we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so the facilitation. Derek's going to go into greater detail, but I want to give you the quick overview first. So how does this work? So an SPCP planning group meets, and again, we would work behind the scenes with local staff to identify that planning group. And then the program would be delivered. It would likely be delivered in one day. And during that program, we would identify issues and solutions would be developed. We would seek volunteers from that pool to establish the council, again, to operate in an advisory capacity. And then they would convene and they would continue to work towards a strategic action plan. And then after solutions are prioritized, they would be implemented as the town is able to do so. And Derek and I would be here for the top row of activities, and we would assist the council as long as it needed until it was able to operate without our in-person facilitation. But we would always be there as a resource and for technical assistance and to provide any best practices that we're aware of that would be relevant to what Boxborough is dealing with. So I'm going to ask Derek to come up and he's going to go into a little bit more detail of the how.
Thanks, Carl, and thank you, Chief, and good evening to the select committee. Again, my name is Derek Dean and the lead conciliation specialist in Region 1. And the SPCP program is really kind of as Carl described. But what it is it's a day of convening community. And by community, I mean all facets, aspects, neighborhoods, stakeholders that make up Boxborough and have a relationship with law enforcement. And basically, it's just to ask them again, 3 basic questions. The first question is, what is Boxborough Police Department doing well to meet your needs? Second question would be, what could the Boxborough Police Department be doing better? And then they would prioritize those concerns so that we would get the top 5. In the afternoon session, we would take groups and then they would work on not the solving the problems, but if you were to take the first steps in solving the problems, what would that look like? And that would give this council a kind of a head start, if you will, in terms of implementation. A couple of things are important, though, about how this is structured as well. In the first part of the dialogue, the people who attend will be put into affinity groups or stakeholder groups. So, for example, in the diagram that Carl had up there earlier, youth would be with youth. Public officials would be with public officials. Clergy would be with clergy, business leaders with business leaders, neighborhood leaders with neighborhood leaders. And that's done intentionally because we're fostering dialogue and not debate. And so when people are identifying what the issues are in particular, we want to make sure that as I see Boxborough may not be the same as you see Boxborough as a citizen. I'm a business person. So we have different perspectives. We don't engage in conflict. So we create these affinity groups. And then from that, they go from identifying what works well to what are the issues. And then in the second half, we take all the stakeholder groups or affinity groups and we blend them together. And so you get a couple of things from that. You get groups that don't traditionally speak to each other, work with each other, see each other, greet each other, working together. And it happens without anyone really kind of, well, I'm telling you, so the secret's out. But they don't really realize what just happened. We went from this powerful dialogue about improving policing, and now we're working on solutions with each other, with people that I've never met, understood their perspectives, and here we are working on solutions. So to speak about it doesn't really give the program or the process true justice. But when you see it, it is truly amazing how it brings community together. And then the last thing I just want to emphasize is, again, a lot of times dialogue is for dialogue's sake. It's for that moment of, I don't know, kumbaya, people say, whatever it is, this isn't that. What this is really taking the pulse of the community, getting their insights, getting their perspectives, getting how they see a path forward to improve the relationship between police and community. And we'll do a couple of things with that. First and foremost, we'll give it in a written report. So everything that is discussed and put on flip charts will be given to the police and the town manager, right? So you'll know everything that each one of these different affinity groups thinks the police is doing well, what can be done better, and solutions. So we'll give you really just kind of a focus group report on how your community is thinking about policing. The second thing is that, again, in the morning session, if I haven't said this already, we'll ask for 2 volunteers from each of the affinity groups. We say 2 because that's a good minimum, but if 8 people want to volunteer, we don't turn anyone down. But we'll take volunteers from each of the affinity groups that are going to work on taking the report and work toward implementation. And again, what we'll stress to the volunteers that day is that this isn't a 6-month or a 3-month kind of meeting resume builder. This is actually work. This is taking a look at what the dialogue kind of produced and deciding on how to implement it. And it could be an ordinance that needs to be passed. It could be a budget issue that needs to run its course through this committee. It could be a variety of things. I don't know what that will be. But more often than not, what it ends up being is really kind of low-hanging fruit, and it's really about building relationship. So I was telling the chief here about a community I did not too long ago, and one of the biggest concerns that they had was the police interaction with the disabled community and making sure that the officers were trained in crisis intervention, that there were relationships that were built so that if you had an encounter with somebody with a disability, it wasn't your first time seeing them or interacting with them or understanding them. And so they had what they formed with students in the schools was a police officer student prom, if you will, so that students from the disabled community could have a chance to go to a prom with the law enforcement officer and very proudly build this kind of trust relationship and understanding. So those are some of the solutions. It's not going to be budget. It's not going to be tactical vehicles, that kind of thing. It's going to be really what this community feels that that may be missing, that one touch, that one spark that will kind of heal whatever schism there might be. So any questions?
How is this funded?
Oh, good question. It's actually pre-funded by your tax dollars. Last year's 1040. So it's all free. There may be a cost the day of, but the cost will be minimum. It typically would be maybe coffee, maybe pizza, but it could be a break. Everybody and lunch is on your own. It depends, but the cost is minimal.
Okay. So, I read through the report from Williamstown and I was trying to relate it to Boxborough. But Williamstown, this is some similarities, but they also have a university there, and I don't know if they have a regional school, but I'm thinking local leaders, who are the local, I mean, how do you pull together local leaders from a community like Boxborough, somebody from Applewood, somebody from, different places? I'm not so sure. So that's, I mean, in the city of Lowell, Oak Valley, you go there, you go there, and you're going to get all the people. I'm not sure how we would pull people together in Boxborough. Anybody want to talk?
I think the question is, how do you scale it to a small town of 6,000 people who are, as much as we might be diverse, we're also all pretty homogenous in many ways. So how do you pull that together?
Intentionally.
Intentionally, I like that.
So basically so I'm not from Boxborough, so I'm going to rely heavily to 100% on the perspectives of the community and the people that are part of the planning group. But it's really to have a conversation about who's invested in Boxborough. Where do they live? Where are those communities that may be isolated that we haven't reached out to? What are those communities that may not feel included when we send out that mass email? And how do we reach out to them if email isn't their language? And by language, I mean the way they prefer to be communicated with. And so it's intentional. And in some communities, it may be not an email, not a Facebook post, but a knock on the door and a personal invitation that we're having this event. Let me explain it to you. Here's what we're going to go through. So the idea is to reach every aspect of Boxborough make sure that they feel invited in the way that they want to be invited. Again, that breaks down some of the trust barriers, and then make sure that they're included. But the idea is by the end of the dialogue, anyone who wants to have a voice will have the opportunity to have a voice, if that answers your question.
So I think to some degree, it's us maybe brainstorming a little bit. As you're saying this, I'm thinking about different groups. I'm thinking about people who are in some of the rentals in town, some of the apartment buildings. I'm thinking of council on aging. I'm thinking of the PTF. I'm thinking of, we only have one church in town.
Okay.
But, again, just kind of thinking of all the different community groups that we could reach out to bring together that may, like you said in the beginning, who might not ordinarily socialize together or spend time in the same places. Business owners, we should be inviting our business owners.
Definitely be inviting your business owners. One other thing to consider too is that, so there are people that engage with Boxborough Police Department who don't live here but work here.
Well, that's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
business owners to invite their employees to say,
Mhm.
we'd like to hear from you.
Mhm.
So Wes, I think I saw your wheels turning, no?
I mean, if the question originally is how do we pick local leaders, I don't know, getting hung up on the semantics of it, but like we have people created the freebie market out of nothing.
Yep, yeah.
And
yeah.
so like there are people that are doing a lot of things in the community that may not necessarily I think if we think about it and we get the word out, I think pretty quickly you'd identify some people. Like I have some people in my mind. But I mean, there is a lot of also diversity, like the Boxborough Meadows, you have the PTF, you have the like the Blanchard School, you have a lot of those people and a lot of people in that sense that may or may not go to or become involved in things because they may not be US citizens either.
That's huge. People who aren't US citizens, and that's huge.
And again, that goes to communication, and it's assuring them that it's a safe space.
Mhm.
And even though certain communities or individuals may be invited, that goes a long way, even if they don't show up, right? Because again, the idea is building trust. And sometimes it comes with that first offer. So I really appreciate you doing all this kind of pre-thinking. I'm hoping you're going to be in a planning group or something so that we can tap into that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And there are people who are going to be really apprehensive about engaging with law enforcement in any kind of constructive way.
Any other? How about, I'm gonna call you the ops team. What are you guys thinking? Any questions or thoughts or organizational questions?
Well, organizationally, what, is there a timeline in mind, or is that something that starts this summer or the fall?
Mhm. So I would suggest, if with the permission to go forward, that we start the planning process as soon as possible. And one of the first tasks that the planning group will begin to determine is when, right? And so is it after summer vacations, when everybody comes back, right? Maybe, so I don't know what the best answer for Boxborough is, but they'll take on the when, then the where, and then the what time, right? Those are the three big questions before you can invite a group of folks. And then after you get that part down, it's then the really challenging part is who do we invite? And making sure that we allow enough time to think that through. And then if it takes those in-person meetings or however that communication comes about, whether it's obtaining translated materials, et cetera, then giving the people a time to receive that and respond. So typically it's a 90-day window from starting of planning to event itself, but it could go longer. It could go shorter, but I'm not necessarily recommending that.
Thank you.
Mhm. I'd also like to talk.
Who's the inviting?
Pardon me?
Who does the inviting? The police department, the select board, the advisory group?
Mhm. So good question. So it could come from a variety of folks. It could come from the city itself. It could come from the police chief. It could come from a group that's all in on this project. It depends. It may be the planning group's determination that this group, for whatever reasons, may not receive an invitation as well from the police as maybe from the town. And so all those are strategic questions that the planning group will consider. It could be the same letter, just from different senders.
All right. This is exciting. How did you all find each other?
I think you mentioned you looked at the Williamstown, kind of followed what was going on in Williamstown, and this is a similar, in some respects, I mean, different, but similar, a regional school district, the population size is similar. And the work that he did there, followed it and looked into the program, and we struck up a conversation on the phone a few months ago and thought maybe that help, that dialogue would be beneficial here.
I love it.
I do just want to talk about roles so everybody kind of understands.
Who's what, where?
Yeah, thank you. So basically, the chief will have a role as kind of championing this, but he can, but it's not necessarily needed that he's on the planning group. But he'll be there the day of the event to welcome folks, letting them know that, you know, police community relations are very important to us in terms of building a stronger relationship and moving forward. And so we want to hear your thoughts, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. He'll also be there at the end to receive the solutions and meet this newly formed SPCP council. The town manager will have a similar role, that we support the chief, we support you as citizens. We want to make sure that the police department is fully serving your needs. And so we're convening this day of dialogue so that we can hear from everyone. Fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. But also this committee will have a role as well, because when the SPCP council is formed and doing its work, they're going to come with solutions. And we don't want to take you by surprise. We want you to know that they're coming with these ideas and hopefully planting the seed that you'll be receptive to whatever they propose. So, and if you want to be there that day, you're more than welcome also.
Wonderful. Well, we really appreciate you taking the time to come in and visit us tonight, especially with our AC not quite working as well as it could.
Yeah.
Is anybody from the community want to join? Any questions, concerns, comments?
I have a question.
Microphone.
Mhm.
Oh, Kirby needs
So
you to talk
just
to the mic.
The question was, how many
Talk to the mic.
communities have you done this before?
And actually, anybody on,
Yeah,
Zoom.
John Markowitz, 71 Patch Hill Road. Just a quick question. How many communities have you done this for?
Yeah, so I dare say that my knowledge is really limited to my experience, even though I know that there are people in the agency like myself who are doing this on an ongoing basis. But I can think of at least a dozen. And the program and the scheme of our work is not that old. So we, in the work that we do since 1964, a lot of our portfolio deals with police community conflicts, whether it's officer involved shootings or film, you know, whatever that issue is between community and law. So we finally decided to put a program specific to improving those relationships. And that was done about 7 years ago. So in the last 7 years, I've done at least 7 SPCPs.
Great, thank you.
so it just occurred to me, if anybody wants to learn more about this, you know, they've got an entire written presentation in the select board's packet, which you can download online, you know, if you'd like to learn more about this before we actually announce it and get it going. So it's out there. All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Have a great night. All right. Let's see, what time is it?
Are they looking for approval from us or?
It's 7:47 p.m.
7:47 p.m.
Very good. You-
Yes, Siri heard me. I didn't even know I had Siri on.
That's a good question. So,
So,
I mean, as they're walking out, I know they want to
move
get.
forward.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so actually, you know what? That's true. We probably should vote to move forward with the program or not. They.
oh,
Any
it just
further
says,
discussion?
no, hold on, we can't, it just says presentation on the public.
We're being very careful of our open meeting law rules and regulations here. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Yep.
I do think that it's going to be a positive outcome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is appointments. We did say we were going to start those at 8 o'clock, and we do have people that we're either going to pop in or Zoom in. There are a couple of people here now. What's the sense of the board? Would you like to jump ahead to financial policies and work on that? Or do you want to offer appointments to the people who are here?
I don't think everybody's here yet for financial policies, right?
Kristen, I'm not posted until 8 o'clock.
All right, then we won't do that. All right. How about we discuss the capital budget charter?
Same thing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, we went faster than I thought we were going to go. What do you think? What should we do? What makes sense?
Well, the police chief will be back in here shortly. And we could, if we want to put it up, the list
police-
of appointments, when he comes back in, start doing some of the police appointments.
That's actually what I thought we were gonna do, is police right after the presentation. So, okay. All right, well, we'll just take a minute. We'll put, well, yeah, why don't we put the appointments up on the screen and we'll just get ready. Does that work?
And we can also find out here from the audience too, to make sure that I have them, because some people didn't have a chance to respond to some of it, so.
Oh, sure.
I'm not
Absolutely.
I'm not familiar with the faces and the names yet, so.
So what, all right, here we go. Okay. Anyone in the audience who's here to be appointed to a board or committee,
We can just start highlighting.
I would say, John, you're here, right, to be appointed? Come on up, you can set the stage, and then Nancy, you can be next. So John, you are, because we're kind of doing this avant-garde right now. You are here to be appointed to the Water Resources Committee, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for being willing to step up. Tell us why you want to be on the Water Resources Board.
Well, I think it's a very important committee. There's a number of issues that are coming forward. We're just really getting started with Littleton Electric, well, Littleton Water, actually. And I have a strong engineering background. I'm a registered professional engineer in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I have a strong business and finance background. So any negotiations I can certainly help with and help Mike with. So I'd like to join that committee because I think it's very important and can utilize my skills.
No, I really appreciate it. Any questions or comments for the board for John?
I don't have a question, but I have a welcome. I mean, I'm glad
Okay.
that you're volunteering for that. It is, to me, it's a very important committee as well. So I'm glad to see you doing that, John.
Okay, thanks.
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 Thank you, John. Yeah, I appreciate, I mean, I definitely think he'll bring valuable input into that committee. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, John, you've been here a long time. What's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
Favorite thing?
I'm going to ask everybody that. So now you all know you're going to be asked, what's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
The people.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I don't even remember. Do we move in second or we just appoint? We just sign.
So for these individual ones, for people who are here in person or on Zoom, you can make a movement and there's something on your motions packet. The dates, you could probably say, move as dated on their appointment slips because they're all different,
Okay.
but the dates are on those packets. But you could make a motion to appoint John Markowitz to the Water Resources Commission or something to that point, committee.
All right. Only because you're first, John, and we're getting organized here. Would we all like to take turns doing appointments rather than me just being the only one talking?
No, you're doing a great job.
I want to take turns. All right. Wes, what do you think?
What?
Do you want me just to do the talking or whatever? Okay. You want to
Well,
take
I
turns?
don't, well, I mean, like, did we want to just do them consent? Like,
John's here. I thought we would just go ahead and do it.
Jolly, that,
All right. I'd like to make a motion to appoint John Markowitz to the Water Resources Committee.
second,
All in favor? Oh, roll call vote because of Priya. Roll call vote,
Sundaram,
Priya.
Sundaram, I.
Wes,
outside.
folks,
I can't, and I.
McCarron and I, Hilberg, aye. All right. John, you're in. Woo. Sounds good. Shall we just start passing around and signing or no? May as well. No?
Sure. Or we can.
I'm used to the old way. The old way we did it was just like, we just passed papers around and we had nice chats.
Sure.
I'm getting used to the new ways.
Okay.
All right.
Priya, you got lucky.
What's that?
Said Priya got lucky.
Priya got lucky. No, Priya, you gotta come in and sign 78. of
I
these other ones.
can.
We can take
I
a
will
break.
come and sign it if I have to.
I
Yes.
believe there's a quorum, so you don't have to sign it. And
Yeah.
you can just,
Okay.
Nancy, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Which committee are you being appointed to? Nancy Brown. There you are.
Board of Registrars.
Board of Registrars. So thanks for coming in tonight. Do you want us to bring the microphone to you? Would you like us to bring the microphone to you? Okay. Hit it with your hand, Nancy. With your hand.
Just fixed.
Well, welcome.
Now I broke it.
That's all good. You get to take it home.
I would like to serve another term as a registrar. It's good to have a connection to town hall and to what's going on in the town. And I like serving with Becky. I like serving with Liz. And I like serving with Ginny.
Well,
So
there you go.
I'd like to continue if you see fit.
I think we would love to have you continue. I actually don't. Okay, educate the public a little bit. What does the Board of Registrars do?
Well, when there are papers to be signed, we have to check the signatures to make sure that they, yes, live here, that they are registered.
Mm-hmm.
And there really isn't a whole lot. I did go to I joined Becky for some important selectmen's meeting,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't remember what it was about.
Oh, that's
But,
okay. You're
we
checking the
do
balance.
help the town clerk.
So you, okay,
Yep.
perfect. So you're the support system.
There has to be, I'm there as a Republican, but I'm not a Trump Republican. And I have to make.
I say the exact same thing.
I have to make sure that I tell you that because it's very important to me. But you have to have a party designation. You can't be unenrolled.
Yep.
So I am an old fashioned Republican.
I just want you to know I'm painted with the same stripe. I am a registered Republican, but I am not a Trumper. We're sisters. All right, before I sit down, what's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
My favorite thing about Boxborough
Yeah, you've
Is
been here a long
that
time.
had the foresight to move here 60 years ago. And I thank God every night
Oh,
for my home and my neighbors and my town. I feel very fortunate to have raised our family here.
thank you. Well, we're happy you're here. Any questions for Nancy before she sits down?
Thank you, Nancy.
No questions. Thank you.
All right, I would like to move to approve Nancy Brown to the Board of Registers. Is there a second?
Second,
Roll call vote, Priya.
Sundaram, I.
Wes,
folks,
Dave,
McKinnon and I.
Kristen, Hilberg, aye. All right. Who else is here? Who else wants to be next? Come on up. We're so glad you came in. So if you could just,
Hi, I'm Johanna Chu to be reappointed to the Sustainability Committee. I was on the Sustainability Committee for 2 years. Francine met me at a town hall and asked me or invited me to join, and I did 2 years ago, and it's been very meaningful to serve on the Sustainability Committee.
what do you think the most important thing that you're doing right now on the, or what's the committee? What's the committee's most important focus
We've
right
done
now?
so much, like there was the solar bylaw, there was the tree act, we've done so much. So it's very, very meaningful.
You've worked hard. You guys you've accomplished a lot in a short period of time. And thank you so much. You did it for 2 years and here you are asking for more. So what's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
It's rural and the people here are very nice. It's unexpected for a place so close to Boston. So it's really unique.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you to say.
Yeah.
Any questions for Nancy?
thanks.
I'm sorry, Johanna, Nancy DeVore. Sorry, Johanna. No? All right. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Johanna Chu to the Sustainability Committee.
Second,
Is there a second? Oh, there is a second. All right, roll call vote. Priya.
Sundaram, I. Thanks, Joanna.
You know what? My best friend in junior high was Johanna. I'm so sorry, Johanna. What?
folks,
McKinnon and I.
Hilberg, aye. All right, welcome back.
Thank you.
don't feel like you need to stay after,
Yeah, don't.
unless you want to.
All right, who wants to pop up next? Christine, come on.
Susan D. Lorenzo, looking to join the Steel Farm Advisory Board.
That makes perfect sense since you're right down the street.
Yes, full disclosure, I do live next door. So I am a licensed builder. I have worked on historic homes in Belmont, Milton, currently in downtown Boston, Com Ave. So I've been through a lot of historic reviews. I'm helping them with the ice house right now. That we are trying to get a roof for them and the siding, and my family will be painting that for them as a volunteer effort.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, what's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
Peaceful.
Peaceful. You picked a good spot.
Yeah, but we're a little loud, but sorry about it, but that's the way it is. Yeah.
Oh, any questions for Christine?
Oh, yeah, we volunteer for the Foxborough Minuteman. We hosted their breakfast.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Does someone have a question? Oh, Richard, did you have a question?
No, I just want to speak next.
Oh, you can be next. Okay, totally fine. All right. Well, thank you so much for all the volunteering and for staying in town. We appreciate
We're
it.
back.
All
Nice to
right.
have you back.
Very happy. All right. I'd like to move to appoint Susan DiLorenzo to the Steel Farm Advisory Committee.
Second,
All right. Roll call vote. Priya,
Sundaram, aye.
Wes,
folks,
Dave,
McKenna and I.
Hilberg, aye. All right. Woo, you're in like Flint. Okay, Richard, you said you wanted to be next.
Yeah, okay. So I want to be on the design review board. My kind of focus about this is historical Newtown Center, and to make sure that we maintain the right to farm aspect of our town in terms of how we designed it, and particularly with the town center. So I've done a whole tour for the Historical Society for the Newtown Center particularly, and I just really want to contribute that way.
That's awesome. We're excited about that. Any questions for him?
No.
All right, you already know what I'm going to ask you. What's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
Well, I love the farmish history. I mean, I love that. I think it's fantastic, and I think it's important for us to maintain that.
Well, we really appreciate you being willing to be on the design review board. Thank you. All right, I move to appoint Richard Hilton to the design review board. Is there a second?
second,
Roll call vote. Priya,
Sundaram, aye.
Wes,
folks,
Dave,
McKenna and I.
Hilberg, aye. All right. Thank you for taking the time to zoom in. I appreciate it. All right, who's next? Who wants to get in the hot seat? All right, bring it on.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Christopher Hydak, Steel Farm Committee, Advisory Committee. Already been on it for a year. I like being able to stand up and work with my hands. I sit at a computer all day, so having a chance on the weekend to actually do something useful is really nice. And it's just a lovely area out there, and it's probably one of my favorite things about Boxborough.
The Steel Farm. Well, what's not to like? Do you hike in there?
Yeah, on occasion I do with my dog.
I was just gonna say, do you have a dog?
Yeah.
Which way do you like to go, left or right?
I'm actually leaning left lately because they have a new trail back there. So
Oh, nice. Go over. Do you go over the water?
yeah,
My
absolutely.
dog loved that.
Dog goes right in the water, but I go over.
That's nice. Any questions? All good? All right. So I move to appoint Christopher Hydak to the Steel Farm Advisory Committee. Is there a second? Wes jumped on it. All right, roll call vote. Priya,
Sundaram, aye.
Wes,
folks,
Dave,
McKenna and I.
and Hilberg. Aye. Thank you again. And I hope you continue to enjoy Steel Farm. Who wants to jump up? Michael.
Michael Toops, foolish enough to put my hat in the ring again for zoning board of appeals.
Oh, stop it.
Well, I see you, whatever. You're used to serving with me. Anyway, so I'm enjoy basically for ZBA trying to keep the town running smoothly. We're a quasi judiciary board, so we're not trying to make our own policy. We're trying to interpret the policies that have already been passed from town meeting floor, and also put some advice in for the planning board for the various recodifications of the zoning bylaws, as we find certain things just don't work well and end up having things come back before us with difficult questions.
Mhm.
So that's
Well, I appreciate you being willing. How many terms have you already done? 3?
think 3.
We've lost track.
I've lost track.
Michael and I were on FinCom together too. So Michael's been a longstanding volunteer in town. Very, very much appreciate your service. And while you're here, you know what I'm going to ask. What's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
Oh, how about living in Boxborough?
Okay.
Great place to live.
All right, I'll take it. Well, you're still volunteering, so clearly you love it. Any other questions or comments for Michael?
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Yeah.
many years of service.
All right, so I move to appoint Michael Toops to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second,
Wes seconded. Priya?
Sundaram, I.
Wes?
folks,
Dave?
McCann and I.
Hilberg, aye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
3 more years. Okay, we're just kind of like, we're just winging it here. Who wants to jump up and be next? See a couple of people. All right. We're friendly.
I am Sam Anderson. I believe I'm an appointee for the Conservation Commission.
There you are.
There I am.
There you are. Well, thank you for coming in tonight.
Yes, I've been on 1 year and having a good time.
So what's the RecCom's plan for the next year? You got any fun plans?
The Conservation Commission?
I'm sorry, Conservation Commission. Sorry. I'm reading too many things at once.
I don't
What's
know.
on the Conscom's agenda? Sorry.
Don't know. We'll see.
Well, we appreciate you've been here for a year.
Uh-huh.
You're signing up for 3 more.
Yep.
Well, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Do you use the trail system?
I do.
What are your
Very.
favorite trails?
Well, I live near Half Moon, but Steel Farm's the best.
I like going over the bridge and
yeah.
my grandkids play poo sticks.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a nice spot.
Yep.
What do you love most about Boxborough?
Conservation there.
Good answer.
Good one. Okay.
How about the soon to be conservation there?
That is actually a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I live on Sargent Road. We're excited about that one.
That's a really nice piece of property.
I guess closing that CR would be on our list.
There you go.
Might be on your list sometimes.
So now all of our lists, absolutely. All right, I would like to move to appoint Sam Anderson to the Conservation Commission.
second,
Is, all right, roll call vote, Priya?
Sundaram, I.
Wes?
folks,
Dave?
McCann and I.
Hilbert, aye. Welcome to another 3 years in paradise.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. No, thank you. We couldn't do it without all you volunteers. Is there anyone zooming who wants to jump in next? Sean, you want to jump in? I figure we'll bounce back and forth, take the pressure off.
Sure, I'll jump in.
Thanks, Sean. Welcome. Thanks for zooming in. So you are here for the zoning board.
I'm here for the zoning board. My first 3-year term is just up. I can't believe it's been 3 years. And I guess we're at it for some more.
I was just going to say, you're here for 3 more. So I've served with Sean for a couple of years. He brings a sense of balance and he dials some of us more loquacious people down. So thank you for serving another 3 years. What's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
I've been hiking the Boxborough 30 with my 3-year-old daughter, and we are 1 trail away from getting it done.
I'm embarrassed to say, what's the Boxborough 30?
Oh,
I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I'm asking this question, but see, that's how vulnerable I am willing to be. What's the Boxborough 30?
the Conservation Trust has like a map and a flyer. They've sort of set out 30 miles of trails, and if you hike all 30, you get a patch.
So your 3-year-old will get a patch? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
how many miles did you carry and how many were there hiking?
I have a backpack for her, and she's a good sport about starting out the hikes walking. She doesn't go that long, but she doesn't. She only weighs 30 pounds. So.
Well, I think it's great that she's 30 pounds, hiking 30 miles. I see a theme. Well, thank you for serving on the ZBA again. I move to appoint Sean McCormick to the ZBA. Was there a second?
second,
All right, roll call vote. Priya?
Sundaram, I.
Wes?
folks,
Dave?
McCann and I.
Hilbert, aye. All right, 3 more.
Thank you.
Wonderful years. Thank you. All right, want to bounce back over. Anybody else want to jump up? Gary!
I think I'm here just for the cable advisory.
Kelly
Everything,
says
okay.
yes.
So, I'm here for
Tell
that.
us cable advisory.
I'm embarrassed. I never heard of the Boxborough 30 either.
Thank you. See, because I was feeling a little like this big. So thank you.
Now you're,
Okay. So tell us about the cable advisory board. What are you guys up to?
we'll find out. If, here we get, I think it's Verizon we're waiting for. If I'm not mistaken.
I can give some backstory on it. So
That'd be great.
yeah, so the Cable Advisory Group is essentially an ad hoc committee to help Foxborough finalize the franchising renegotiations for Comcast and Verizon. Those actually ran up. We renegotiated and we got a new franchise agreement with Verizon last year, and we're in the process of negotiating with Comcast just to renegotiate our cable franchise fee with them.
So the town pays a fee.
No, we get money.
We get money back.
We get
for
money back.
Who subscribe, like who have basically like Comcast and Verizon accounts. So we get a certain amount back of those fees for people who are active subscribers. And we also, as a part of that, we get capital funding from Verizon and Comcast that we go to capital projects for essentially like our cable networks and just capital projects to improve broadcast capabilities in town.
So I should be less annoyed when I write that check. Some of it's coming back to town.
Yeah, so we get a certain percent. I believe it's 5% back off of our subscribers.
So
Okay.
just for context.
Yeah,
also,
please.
I've said it in the past, but we'll say it again. I'm sure you will probably clap, but typically what happens is we have the right of ways and we're effectively allowing them to use the right of ways to carry this. And so when we negotiate these things, they effectively add it to the bills of the customers. Since the customers have gone down significantly, people are only buying internet, etc. The town is going to have to most likely start putting this as an operating expense as well as adding things to the capital plan if the town is looking to continue the current level of service. So just forward thinking, if the town is looking to continue it because less people are subscribing, and that's how typically, and until legislation goes into effect where they start charging for streaming services, likely the way that we'll have to fill the gap in funding is through the budget.
So help me understand, expenses might include tree trimming.
No, so this is
what
new
expenses?
equipment. So we have like our video on demand storage, we have the cameras, the microphones, the servers for converting. There's actually like 4 or 5 different ones. So one's like a mixer, one's a digitizer, and all these things age out. And so it's replacing these capital items as time progresses and as they become obsolete. And so in the past, when almost everybody subscribed, we had more money. They also, it's like the negotiation for giving us a channel on both Comcast and Verizon.
And that's the current channel we're on
Yeah.
now, our government channel.
So that's what y'all watching right now. Okay,
If they're not
all right.
So, but the capital equipment is still the same price and increasing while the revenue from this is going down. So there will be a gap.
So this is an important ad hoc committee. Do you have your
Very important.
negotiating boots on?
The other problem is, I know with Verizon, they took a 1 year or 2 year contract instead of longer term contracts. So
I
they're,
think it was 5. They went from like 10 to 5.
what's it down to 5?
Yeah.
That was 3. Okay.
Or it might be 3. I'm not 100% sure.
Is there
But they're
any-
shortening the time because they're not sure where their revenues are going either.
Interesting.
And they put in a clause with Verizon that they can pull out if they give us certain months notice. So
What does it mean if they pull out?
they
Means
stop.
Foxborough no longer has Verizon.
Interesting.
So
Well,
we're going to try to negotiate hard.
it's gonna be a fun year for you.
1 year though.
Well, no, I really appreciate you stepping up because you have a lot of experience over the years negotiating on behalf of the town. So thank you for stepping up to this. Were you strong armed or you're excited about this?
No, well, this is my second year on it.
Okay,
So, I guess strong arm is a good word for it.
well, we appreciate it.
Or is it when you volunteer because everyone else stepped back?
Voluntold.
Voluntold. Oh, that's a new one.
No, it's a good team.
Good to hear. Okay. What's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
My first day.
Lifers Day. That is a good one. Yeah, everyone keep an eye out. It'll be in September sometime. We don't know when, but we hope everybody can make it. Better than that torrential rain. That was a good call. All right, I'm going to move to appoint Gary Kushner to the Cable Television License Renewal Advisory Committee ad
Second.
hoc. Is there a second?
Second,
Priya?
Sundaram, I.
Wes?
folks, aye.
Dave?
McKinnon, aye.
Kirsten Hilberg, aye. Thank you for that education. I'm sure everybody appreciates it. Thank you, thank you. All right, everyone here. Did you step up yet? Come on, don't be shy.
Andrew Tavalachi.
Hi, you're
Hi.
here for ConsCom.
Yep. Yep.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Moved here 4 years ago
Thank
in
you.
January.
Huh?
You were the broker on my house.
I sold you the house. Yay.
Yes.
Thanks for staying.
Um,
I'm like, I thought I knew that name.
Yep. I don't know what I'm in for. I don't think I know what I'm in for, but I have a good foundation in, general conservation paradigms. So I think I can contribute in that regard.
Well, your property especially is exactly what we want to protect. Everything that's going
Yeah.
on behind you.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I bought the property.
Water, land. What do you have for wildlife right now?
What's that?
What are you seeing for wildlife right now?
Oh,
What are you not seeing?
deer, raccoons, skunks, turtles, amphibians, frogs, salamanders, everything, birds, bats.
Like I said, what are you not
Yeah,
seeing?
bear.
You had a bear?
Yeah, we have a bear.
Oh.
We know where his favorite pooping spot is.
Oh.
Um,
Does a bear poop? No kidding. Sorry.
He
Let's
does.
not go
Yes, he
there.
does.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for stepping up and volunteering. I appreciate it.
So
Any
Dave-
questions?
David is being humble because he and I have emailed back and forth as he made this application, and he's got an extensive scientific background that's going to lend itself very well to the Conservation Commission. He's being very humble.
Humble man.
Thank you.
Well, we're excited to have you. Any other
I hope it
questions?
helps.
Thank you.
All right. I move to appoint Andrew Tavalachi to the Conservation Commission.
Second,
Priya?
Sundaram, I.
Wes?
folks, aye.
Dave?
McKinnon, aye.
Kristen Hilbert, aye. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Is there anybody on Zoom or in the audience that we haven't called on yet?
Oh, that's
Let
me.
see. Oh, hi, how are you?
Hi.
Suresh?
Yes.
Wonderful. I will pull your. So tell us about yourself and what you're here for tonight.
I'm here for a confirmation on a sustainability committee. I've been on it for 3 years now. So
What do you like about being on it?
well, I think Francie is a good leader. And together with Francie, we started the Energized Boxborough, and we did a lot of awareness for sustainability in the town. And in this, environment, the federal government as well as the state government are doling out a lot of funds for sustainability. And we'd like to bring in some money for our town and make our town contribute towards the sustainability of the state as well as the country and the world.
I like that. I like that a lot. And I like that you're looking at it from that kind of global perspective, federal, state, world, right from the ground up. You guys have done a lot in the last couple of years.
Well, we'd like to do more,
I think you will.
we need some support from the select board.
I think you're going to get it.
Okay.
Well, good.
That's a deal.
What's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
Oh, no traffic jams, no smog. We like to keep it that way.
I
There was
like that. No
When I moved here, there was no traffic light in Boxborough, but now we have one.
That was a big deal. Trust me. A lot of people were upset. Yes. Well, thank you again for stepping up again. Any questions for Suresh?
Thank you.
All right, I would move to appoint Suresh Jasrasaria to the Sustainability Committee.
Second.
Priya,
Sundaram, I.
Wes,
Folks, aye.
Dave,
McCann and I.
Hilberg, aye. Andrew, you got away without me asking you what your favorite thing about Boxborough was. I just realized I didn't ask you. What's your favorite thing about Boxborough?
All the water, big mature trees, and how the residential community kind of interweaves between it. I always said, I never knew there were that many houses back there. And that's saying something, if we can put that kind of density in that space without knowing it, without being made aware of how smog or traffic or other things. That means you've done it relatively well. But I like access to all those things. That's my favorite thing.
Thank you. I like it too.
That's why I agree to your deal.
You got a fair deal. You're fine. No. All right. Is there anybody else here in the room or on Zoom to be appointed tonight? All right. I think we covered everybody. So the rest of the people will do by consent. We'll do a consent agenda. Okay. Actually, you know what? I am actually here to be appointed to the zoning board tonight, but it'll be a short appointment. When I ran, I did say I wasn't going to serve on other committees. We are in litigation right now, and I am one of the members, for continuity's sake, I've been asked to stay on until we manage this litigation, where it goes or where it doesn't go, at which time I will step off. And one of our, I lost the word, associate members will just step into my place. So any questions for me?
No questions.
No, but it'll be short. It's going to be a short appointment. So somebody else has to make the motion. I don't think I can move to appoint myself.
So I'll move to appoint Kristen Hilberg to the
Zoning
zoning board of
board, yes.
appeals.
I'll second that.
All right. I don't think I can vote for myself.
You
Can I?
can.
Can I?
You can.
Okay. All right. Roll call vote. Priya,
Sundaram, I.
Wes,
Folks, aye.
Dave,
McCann and I.
Hilberg, aye. Okay. How would you like to do the consent agenda?
So if you would put the list back up. I think we've got a motion here that will cover the rest of the people who are on the list who haven't already been appointed. Other than you're going to do a couple appointments later that are not on there, but you'll cover that after you do the finance committee joint meeting.
All righty. I move to appoint by consent all people listed on the FY24 appointment list as presented, with the exception of those previously appointed this evening. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have a question.
Sure.
The chief is here. So we have 4 reserve officers, I guess, and I'm curious as to your utilization of reserve officers. Or your intention of use of the reserve officer. So for those who don't know, a reserve officer is not a full-time or a part-time officer in Boxborough, but they can take shifts and they can do that, also details, but the town does incur liability should anything go wrong while we're paying them, and you would be on the hook for the injured on, or I think they would be covered for injured on duty if they're on a details right as well.
We have actually 5 part-time officers at this point on the list. As far as officers who are part-time,
I was saying reserve officers.
Reserve officers, yes. So there's 5 on the list. 2 of them are retired officers who work primarily details. However, when they do work a detail, I will say there is an administrative fee that comes back to the town on many of the details. So they are actually providing revenue.
But it also provides more work because we have to do the detail slips, the billing and all that stuff as well.
Sure, there is, but there is an administrative fee. They are bringing back funds to the town. As far as working shifts, I've, going to be working on that in the new fiscal year here. Some of them have signed up for shifts, especially like the road race. A few of them signed up for that. A couple of them have picked up shifts, especially with dispatch. One of them's also a certified dispatcher, was able to help us out. So they are picking up shifts. Do I wish they picked up more? Possibly at times, and I've been talking with them to try to pick more shifts up. But I will say none of them have ever, when I've asked to pick up a couple of shifts here and there, none of them have ever said no. I think it's a positive thing to have them in that capacity. And yes, they do work details the majority of the time. I've to really try to stay away from, one-to-one. You have to work one-to-one detail to one shift. Because every time I've asked out for help, they've always stepped up. So I've left it at that for now. I understand your concern, but just know they are bringing in revenue for the town as well when they're working their details.
I actually don't understand your concern. Help me understand. Like, are you saying we shouldn't have reserve officers?
No, I guess what I'm saying is the majority of the paychecks that we've signed, I've seen only mostly doing, I don't want to say always and never, but the majority of the time, if you look at it, it's just details. And so what I'm saying is the town, we do charge an administrative fee, but that's also to cover administrative costs. However, while they're on these details for the town does also incur liability. Like, let's say they get rear-ended if they're in a car, or if they get hit. We are then responsible for their care during that time
Okay.
as a town.
How long have we had reserve officers? Does anybody know? I mean, I feel like it's a pretty consistent, consistent thing that we've had in town. I know we're all new.
Yeah, we're all new for quite a while. Again, they have stepped up. They've worked things like races. Some of them have worked shifts when I've needed them to. One of them does the first aid CPR training for the municipality as a firefighter in another municipality. But it's good to have someone when an issue comes up he's also a reserve officer. So they are picking up shifts. I get your concern if they were refusing to or were never helping out. But that has never been the case that I've seen so far. And getting them, for road races, for things like Pfeiffer's Day, that's important when you need, more bodies there. But you are correct. They do work the majority of the time. It is details. And the way that's justified is there is some administration fee coming back. So we've kind of, left it alone at this point. But looking forward, when we bring in new individuals, the preference would be for, which we've actually just did with the last individual here 2 weeks ago, Safaraz Mushtiq, we hired as a part-time officer. We're hoping that he becomes a full-time officer. So as we move forward with new part-time officers, the goal is to hire individuals, if we can, who want to become full-time officers as kind of a training ground.
No, that's totally fine. It's just like, again, my issue is not the issue, like the deal with like the part-time officers, but you have also some of these officers who are retired and they have no prospect of even coming back outside of that or like trying to upscale. And so I'm saying it's just like a liability. And I was just curious as to your plan and how you utilize them.
There's only 2 at this point of the 5 who are retired. And again, they both have stepped up, when I've needed them. One retired from here with over, I think, about 20 years of service to the department. So I think having that officer around also gives some institutional knowledge to the department as well.
I have 2 questions. One, and this is for the edification of everybody. What's the difference between a reserve and a part-time?
Okay. A reserve officer is not a member of the union. So say an overtime shift should come up, it would first go to the union individuals. After that, it can go to the reserve officers who are fully sworn officers or graduates of the police academy. They work a shift at a considerably lesser pay rate than a full-time officer. That rate is going up a little bit on July 1 because the personnel board did raise it a little bit. But they, instead of paying an overtime rate, we're able to pay them a per diem rate, considerably less. At the same time, they can also pick up details, as Wes talked about already, and they can pick up details, and those are rather plentiful in certain times of the year. And they can work up to 1,200 hours a year as a retired individual. So 2 of the 5, do that primarily.
If we didn't have reserve officers, how would you backfill parades, Viper's Day, details? Would you have to go out of town? Would you have to order people in? Like, what do we do?
Yeah, sometimes we still have to do that, but having the extra bodies there at a relatively substantially lower pay rate, I think is a positive. We haven't had that situation you're talking about, Wes, where someone gets hurt and they're on duty. We haven't yet. But again, I'm looking at it as I move forward as more of a reserve officer, as a training ground to bring on someone full time. Again, 2 of them are retired and I've let them stay because they both have been beneficial to the department over the last 8 months that I've been here.
Okay. Well, I do hear you. I mean, I do understand there's a liability, but with everything that we do, there's that cost benefit.
No, I know. So
Yeah.
different chiefs have said they have different strategies for them, and I was just curious what his.
No, totally fine. No, I think it's great that you brought it up.
I think my strategy is going forward more to hire individuals who are looking to work more and they want to get the experience as a per diem officer working shifts, and then transitioning them over to full time when a job should open up. So moving forward, that would be my my goal moving forward, which, as you saw 2 weeks ago, we did that with our first part-time officer who we're hoping to bring full time.
Does anyone on the ops team have a question or anything?
I have a question, but
Management.
Priya also
Sorry.
has one.
Oh, I'm sorry, Priya. I'm sorry. Jump in, Priya.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to I think the chief clarified that, but I was looking from a cost perspective as well. If we bring our own folks into detail, would that be run into overtime? And is this cost going to be less? And I guess that's the case, right? Like with reserve officers, the cost overall in general would be less than,
substantially less to hire a per diem officer if they pick up an overtime shift. Now, again, the full-time officers have full first right, but instead of forcing someone in, if a part-timer picks up that shift, not only are we not forcing an individual in, which is ideally we don't want to do that. They're already working a full-time job. But secondly, we're paying them a much less pay rate when they pick up that per diem shift.
And in terms of liability, will any of our insurance cover that, or how does that work?
Yes, they are still covered by the town's insurance if they were to get hurt while they're working on duty.
And I'm assuming everyone has passed whatever tests they have to pass. You said that earlier.
All part-timers are still fully certified individuals. They have to keep up with their certification every year. Every one of them that we have is certified, and that's the norm now throughout the state.
Okay. Management team, what do you got? Any questions? Or
I had 2 questions. One that has just been answered. The other one is, do we need to look at the administrative fee? Is it up to date? Or
is it adequate?
Is it adequate? And Wes's concern kind of made me think, I hadn't thought of that before, but we talk about when we look at building inspection fees, things like that, recreation fees for summer programs. Occasionally we have to look at them and make sure we're keeping up. And is that something we should look at? Does that address part of your concern? We do pay insurance premiums for our IOD insurance. Just taking a look at that administrative fee, does that help alleviate some of your concern? And is that also, do you know when the last time was that we looked at that?
Well, why don't we do this? I'll work with Liz over the next couple of weeks, and why don't we go back and take fiscal year 23 in a couple more days, and we could count up the administrative fees that each of the part-timers brought into the town. And I think that would give us a good number to see. Now, it's kind of some details require an administrative fee, others do not, depending on if they're a municipality or where they're doing it. But certainly adding up that number on their details, we could probably get some pretty accurate information on that.
Well, I think what Michael was talking about was a bigger picture of, for all details, is our administrative fees significant enough or appropriate to cover the insurance, the like the actual sending out the invoices, taking in the payments, and then doing all that extra accounting. And so that's what I think Mike was referring to, not necessarily specifically for the reserve officers.
Well, I think maybe the first thing would be to add up, maybe for everybody, not just the reserve officers, what has been brought in, look at that fee and then also allocate out the insurance costs. And I don't think it'll be an exact science on what each detail costs, but we could probably, maybe Rajan and I could work on that together, some of the costs and, an admin cost. It's hard to put a definitive number on it as far as the time she's working to work on one detail slip, but certainly you can allocate some portion of a day, some portion of a 40-hour work week to that. So I think we could work on some analysis over that. Probably best would be after July 1. We'd have some data to look back and go forward as well.
Sure. And Rajan and I can help work with you on coming up with a comparative analysis on what administrative fees other communities are charging, and see where we are. Yeah, have we fallen behind or are we keeping up? And that might help in the analysis as well.
Wes, would you like to put this on an agenda date certain so that we don't forget?
I don't care. I was just asking a question.
Well, no, but we're taking it seriously and we're, if they're going to do all this work, I'm thinking maybe we put it on the August or September,
I'm not even asking for this work to be done. I just had a question. That was it. Like, I don't care. Like, if we're appointing them, like, it doesn't matter after today to me.
well, it would matter for next year and we go into it a little more. Well, all right. Okay. Well, and let's back it up before we ask the team to do all this work. If you as the person asking doesn't feel the need that they go to this extent, tell us what you want. Tell us.
I just had the question. That was it. Like, that's all I was asking was his
Yeah,
strategy for the reserve
just asking the
officers.
question, I think, but I think
I'm just trying
it's
to-
worth looking at.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's something, I don't know the last time it was done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I might not get on it right tomorrow, but I think over the next, a couple of weeks, the next month, that'd be a good project, this summer to work on with Liz as we get through this, fiscal year comes to an end, and let's see where we are with that number.
At this point, my curiosity is piqued as far as the administrative fees, seeing where we are. And I think I'd like to maybe come back to the board in September.
Okay.
With a report on where we are. Do we need more time or can we give you, this is where we are and we're going to increase it, or no, we're at the right spot?
Yeah.
So we'll come back sometime in September with some information for you.
And it is a percent, so it would be not so much a rate, it would be a percent that would be changing
So we'd be looking to see if it was,
Currently 5%
to see if that's a normal.
of the detail.
of the detail rate.
Gotcha.
Okay. So
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, absolutely,
quick
as
survey.
it goes up, as the rate goes up, so does, because it's a percent. Now, you may say that percent has fallen behind and it should be 6% or a different percent, but it is going up as the detail rate goes up.
all right, we'll take a look at, report back to the board in September.
Awesome. All right, good. No, that's a good point. I mean, revenue is revenue. So let's take a look at everything.
We want
Pick up
revenue.
every rock. I
Absolutely.
like picking up the revenue rocks. All right, I'm going to flash the list back up. Any other comments about the consent agenda list?
No.
No? Except thank you to everybody for raising their hand again. And everybody was invited to come in and tell us what their favorite thing about Boxborough is. 50 of you didn't. No, okay. I made a motion. There was a second. Are we ready to vote? Any comments from the public just while we're here? All right, Priya,
Sundaram, I.
Wes,
Folks,
Dave,
Karen and I.
Hilberg, aye. Okay, all right. We are now moving on to reviewing our financial policies. But
I ask is, so I'm not sure I haven't heard from Shaba. Is he on the meeting or is this?
Nope.
I can't see which-
he's not.
So if he's not, then I'm not gonna call the order because I don't inform.
okay,
Okay. I just have.
You have 3 people.
So we have these. Oh, because the other two don't start until July. Create the water. Is not, okay, I'm gonna call.
I guess you're gonna call us to order. Okay, or call yourself to order.
So you're talking to presence before, I call the Butler Finance Committee for it. Going over meeting. No, neither do I. Thank you very much.
Oh, shoot, my packet's on my laptop right here. Okay. Can I share? The financial policies? Okay,
Oh,
you have it?
Yep.
All right.
Have a paper copy of it if you want.
Okay.
Oh, this is capital budget, never mind.
Yes.
I had to go back and look. It was in a previous packet. Um,
All right. Sorry, I just wanted to have it in front of me and it's actually on my laptop, which is in my car.
you got it? You got a copy there?
Oh, perfect. Okay. So we had reviewed it previously, just briefly. Do you want to just kind of pick it back up again?
So the only, in reviewing this since the last time we all met together, on the budget transfer policy, we have written, the finance committee will review all budget transfers, but actually, according to the law that Mike sent out, he and I discussed it, finance committee has to actually approve them as well in a vote. So I'd like to, before you vote on it, if it's makes sense to the members of the committee that are here, I'd like to change that to the finance committee will vote to approve budget transfers. If you guys agree to that language,
Sure.
and it is law, right, Mike, if I'm not mistaken. So I was under the impression,
Yeah.
I was under
Do you
the
know what page-
impression that we only reviewed, not that we approved, but the actual state law states that we have.
Just confirms the departmental.
Yes, the interdepartmental budget transfers, yeah.
Right.
So. And we were really careful about that, frankly, to put in the word review until we read the law, and then I realized it should say will vote. So we could just use the same language. Finance committee will review and vote to approve budget transfers. Same language as the select board.
We'll review and vote.
Yeah.
To approve all budget transfers.
If that works for you guys. I think it's.
If it's state law.
Right, John.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting the way that the law is written. It doesn't say vote, but it's not silent on it either. I think it says
It says
with
approve.
concurrence of the
Yeah. so
finance
it's-
committee.
it's-
So I
Oh, with
think- I-
concurrence, that's an
So
interesting
I,
word.
so I think they really do need to vote, you know,
Yeah.
so I
To
would
make it
agree with
official.
that.
So
Yeah.
we had talked, Mike and I had talked about
Yeah.
that. So that's the only change since the last time. We've not met, but I also don't think the committee has any other changes on the finance policies.
Okay. We did have some community input, didn't we?
Yeah, there were 3 comments from Diana.
In both there was a couple of concerns from Diana, and then there was
That would be Diana Lapari.
yeah, and from Cindy Markowitz, she just didn't want it to be voted the first night that it was presented in front of the board.
I haven't seen any further communication. I know Diana had some very specific questions to make sure that we weren't at cross purposes in this. Did you
And
take
they
a
were-
look at them?
They were in regards to the personnel board, and it was, I don't have it in front of me, but basically making sure that the personnel board could, I think it was, approve positions.
Right.
Even though the funding comes in the spring, that it wasn't, preventing personnel board from approving positions.
At town meeting.
Yeah, it would be, right, it would be the funding of that position.
Right.
That's what she wanted to see in there, which I think makes sense. I mean, yeah, quite
But
a,
nothing that here
argument.
precludes that, correct?
Correct.
And in reality, if personnel board wanted to bring a new position forward in the fall, at a fall town meeting with funding, that would be up to the town, right? It wouldn't need necessarily to wait till the spring on a warrant article. It would need to wait for the spring for the following fiscal year. But if they wanted to hire somebody November 1st, we had a meeting in October and said we need $10,000, that town meeting could vote that and personnel board could bring that forward. There's nothing in here that says that wouldn't happen.
Right, and I agree with that.
Okay, so you feel like her concerns are represented?
If that's what her concerns are, she
All right.
did not send the email to me, so I don't know.
Okay,
But based on what Mike is saying.
okay. And then I know Cindy just wanted to make sure that, Cindy Markowitz wanted to make sure that people in town knew we were voting this, had a time to interact with us. I haven't seen any further emails. Have you guys seen anything?
I haven't.
No. Okay.
okay, so wait a minute. So what about the other 2 points that she had was about it says $5,000. Do you want to keep that? And her recommendation was to
And that was for
move it
the,
up to 10 or 15.
So that's the cap.
that was for the capital plan, and
Oh,
we have.
sorry.
No, that's okay. Hey, I called Conscom
Oh, yeah, okay.
earlier,
We
so hey.
did actually, and we'll get back to that, but Gary and I have met in accordance with the discussion at the last select board meeting, we've presented you a draft and we have recommended the increase that amount. So that addresses that concern of hers. And you'll get to that, I think, in your next agenda item.
And I think the goal was to have the capital budget committee put together a policy and bring it to both committees. We didn't want, this is the existing policy. We didn't want to make those changes until a policy recommendation was made by the committee that we were trying to put together.
So so the $5,000 is still.
It's still in there.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah, this is. part of the-
Yeah.
That
the
would get
policy,
adjusted
that-
if something else was adopted with the capital committee.
Okay. Which, all right, okay. And what was the other one, since you have beautiful notes?
So that was it. And then, we talked about the funding, the RFT, her concern was that about having the total other or the total salaries needed to be down to zero before that happened.
Yeah, RFP is a
But I think,
transfer for anyone who doesn't know.
sorry, thank you.
That's okay.
And so I think the point was to try to stay ahead of the game. Maybe we need to say something like if the total other or total salary are depleted or about to be depleted, so you could make a transfer so there's enough money to cover that before it's depleted. You know, if you know what your salary is going to be for the month, does that make sense or no?
Well, so we felt pretty strong. Well, this has been past practice, is that it needs to be depleted. And we wanted to memorialize that because this year that hasn't been happening. And we meet every other week from basically, August through January, and then we meet every week. So I don't know that we'll be in a position with an RFT that we would ever go into a deficit spend, because in theory, that's coming to us before the bills need to be paid by at least a couple of weeks, right? They're getting it in, and department head's getting it in, and they need to, they're managing their budget. So, I think the FinCom feels pretty strongly that needs to be in there as is, and then so that everybody understands it. Because we had a couple of RFTs come to us this year from a department head where there was money in the other, but not in a specific line item. So if the other budget has gas, electric, and phone, if it is the phone bill that is gonna, be depleted, the phone line, there's still money in there. There's $5,000 or $6,000 in there that can be used from another line item. And that does not need to come to us. I mean, literally that total other needs completely expended everything.
Well, that would be the expense line. I think what I heard Dave read was she was mentioning, does it make sense to wait for a salary line to go down to zero first? If you know the person's employed, they're still going to be here 2 weeks from now. And does that cause any unnecessary financial strife if the money's
certainly
bottomed out?
And I would assume, we talked about this and you were comfortable with this language.
Yeah.
No, I just want to address it,
Department
Mayor.
heads, I think, should be able to manage their budgets and have some idea within 2 weeks that they're gonna go to zero.
I think I was at every finance committee meeting where there was an RFT. I think one of them I may have been zoomed into the meeting, and I was comfortable with the process they were using. And I do recall a couple of times when something was about to go to a reserve fund transfer where there was money still in an other budget line. And I think it actually makes sense to use up or make some explanation of why it's not being used up before transferring out of reserves. So I think of, if we've got reserves there, we want to make sure there's something that if we have some catastrophic failure, if we have an air conditioner system go, it just doesn't get that's probably bad. But I mean a furnace go, and we've used up reserve fund transfer money for something else where there was another source, and now we don't have reserve funds there. So it makes sense to me, the thinking of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was comfortable with it, and Gary explained it well at one of the FinCom meetings where I was there on why we should be using that money instead of going directly to reserve funds. So I was comfortable with that language.
Okay. Yeah, no, for expenses, 100%, no a priori RFTs. That makes no sense. And like I said, for salary though, I think that maybe it's a discussion with the department head. If they're edging towards zero and they've got 3 months left, We should probably know that before they're close to zero for
We
salaries.
need to know that before that, right? And we're
Yeah, I was
looking
gonna
at
say,
2
we
weeks.
know that.
So, I mean, that's exactly right. And if you
Yeah.
get to a situation where somebody can't be paid in a given week because a department head didn't tell Mike's got bigger issues than whether or not we have an RFT that we have to do an emergency meeting for. I just, so, you know, this is
I'm
one of the
assuming there's some kind
finance-
of check and balance anyway, that the accountant and the treasurer are gonna notice the salary line item is getting pretty lean and we've got a lot of time left.
And that should all be
Yeah.
going through the town administrator.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just kind of saying, I'm just, yeah.
It's the expense lines that come as more of a surprise. Like legal lines, like, heating costs that have gone up, things that, weren't predicted the year before, or a maintenance
Snow and ice
issue.
or,
Yeah,
yeah.
something like that. So.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem, what?
Tonnage, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
trash,
Yeah,
yeah.
trash time.
And so what happens is like we are at zero on our reserve fund. But I do think that there was probably 2 or 3 reserve funds, not much, not a huge amount, but enough money that we probably could have had about $10,000 left in case something happened. Because the reserve fund was done, for instance, like the $6,200 audit that was done, we might have been able to take that out of a different treasury expense line. Instead, it came to us because the bill was, quickly was due and we did that. So we are now down to zero. So if we really do have an AC that's going, we got to wait 2 weeks because we have no extra money in the reserve and we have no extra money in any of the budgets.
Right.
Because that just came out. So there's no money in that either. So it just makes sense to do it this way.
Sure. No. I just vetting it. Yeah.
Kristen, I just have one.
Oh, yeah.
One comment to make. I think if all the department heads are looking at their budget versus actual on a monthly basis, we should know very well in advance where we are heading. I think that's important. I don't know how much it's happening. I think, I'm sure Mike is meeting with them and I know it won't happen right away at the end of the month, but at least by the middle of the following month, we should have a clear idea about budget versus actual. I think that's very important for our department heads to be looking at that on a monthly basis.
Okay. Were you just letting me know it? Okay. Like what, Rashawn? Okay. Any further discussion from anyone? I'll entertain a motion.
So we talk about the financial policy, so.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I have a question, maybe with somebody from the FinCom. The stabilization fund, it seems like it's open-ended. A lot of towns use that for capital items or debt service or something, things that you might need to have, but the policy doesn't specify any category of any type. Is that the way you wanted it?
So I'm going to defer to you on that because that's been around a lot longer than me.
Actually, why don't you explain what the stabilization fund's purpose is, and then you can address Dave's question, which is kind of the same thing.
The best way to think of stabilization fund is it's our long-term savings. If something happens, it does require 2/3 vote from town meeting to pull funds from it. We try to put money in every year, every other year, whenever we can. We're trying to build it up. There's I think 5% or something of our budget. But it's a long-term savings. So if something catastrophic happens through town meeting, 2/3 of vote, we can pull money out. And we have used it at town meeting to cover certain items over time too. But we haven't done that in a few years. Usually it's big items, but again, think of it as your long-term savings versus stuff that we can obtain easily or quickly.
Like a 401k. That's our town's 401k.
And open-ended for a reason.
Yep.
Right, so that we can use it for
Whatever we need.
whatever.
Okay.
town meeting.
So it is purposely open-ended. You didn't want to specify it for any particular category.
Now, we've talked about it
Just
over the
asking the
years, trying to lock it in, and it really, again, it's based upon what town meeting wants to do. So there are times when last one I can remember was painting the library. We used stabilization for that. And there was some pushback about whether that was the right thing to do.
I remember that actually. Yeah, whether that was it wasn't really an emergency that we needed to spend it on, or whether.
Want to have the 2/3 vote.
Yeah.
It's like going for debt, right? You have to take 2/3 vote for that. So it makes it a higher bar. The town really wants it, to support it.
Right.
And I actually agree with that, leaving it, not specified to different categories. If you were going to do that, I think a better way to do it is with reserve funds. So right now we have one reserve fund. If you wanted to have, certain money that could be tapped into in an urgent situation, a way to do that might be a capital reserve fund or a salary reserve fund. And you think, well, salary, that's all taken care of. We know what people are getting paid for. But what we don't always account for, and I noticed this here in particular in Boxborough, is retirement payouts. So when somebody retires, if they've got 2 weeks or 4 weeks vacation on the books, that's not something we budget for. And so that's one where in the future we may want to look at, is that something we want to budget a salary reserve and have $100,000 there or 50,000 or whatever's the appropriate amount. And that's something where, well, we think we might have, one long-term employee retiring next year and we know they have this much vacation, but it's not something we really budget for. It's not something that I'm advocating that we put into this policy or make any action on right now, but that would be just an example. If you were going to particularly categorize something, it would be more, I think, in line with a reserve fund than your stabilization fund. That stabilization, you want to sit there, you want that to be pretty much untouchable unless 2/3 of your voters at town meeting say, yeah, we agree. That's something that we really need to critically address. And we'll tap into some of that money for, like in that example, painting a building or something that was, not forecast.
Replace a roof or.
Remember, we wanted to have the skate park that didn't happen. The FinCom wanted that to be paid for, and this was from the higher bar, was enacted, select board wasn't. It's just at the higher bar.
All right, any further questions or discussion? Jim, did you write me a movement for this one? I move to accept the financial policies as amended.
Second.
Wes seconded it.
Did we amend anything?
Yeah, we did. We changed that one, well, based from the copy that we have, it was to.
Change that one word.
Just that one word.
To,
The budget transfer policy.
Right, we changed it to mirror the sentence above it with
That's
the
right.
select board and then the.
that's right,
FinCom.
2 weeks ago we did.
And then we'll vote that change, we'll vote that at our meeting.
Yep. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, any further discussion? Priya,
Sundaram, aye.
Wes,
Okay.
Dave,
McCann and I.
Hilberg, aye. All righty.
Thank you. And I want to thank Mike and, for his work, he and Tony in putting this together. And I think this is really big for the town and will really keep us all on the same page. And I think that's really important and it keeps communication open and quite frankly, someplace to point to when someone says, yeah, but, and we have financial policies. So I
No, I
want to
think
thank
it's
Mike
great.
for bringing it forward and Tony, who's in England
Thanks,
for all his
Sally.
hard work putting this
Yeah,
together.
Tony worked really hard on this and did a nice job. And I will say it's actually, it's impressive that the town got to a AAA bond rating without having financial policies. Because most towns, that's the last step on the road to going from AA or AA plus to AAA. So it's quite remarkable. And hopefully we never go backwards from a AAA, but this is one of the things, the stabilizing things that your auditors look at okay, they have management in place, they've got financial policies in place, they've got a capital committee in place, and they've got stabilization, they've got reserve, all the foundational pieces. This is one of them.
So for anyone watching, AAA is.
So that's the highest level of surety from your bonding agencies that they're looking for.
Which gives us.
Lower lending rates.
Yay, good job,
Borrowing
good job,
rates.
good job.
I mean, the AAA at least 10 years, if not longer.
Yeah.
Go Boxborough.
Yeah. So this is one more, solid rock in the foundation of, financial sustainability.
One more reason to love Boxborough. Way to
Absolutely.
go.
So
All right.
last question is, where will these be posted? Will be on the website?
Yeah.
You'll put them on the website. And these will be signed by the finance committee, the select board, the town administrator, the town accountant, the town treasurer, and the town assessor. So, and the idea being the people that are making financial decisions and operating on a day-to-day basis with the town finances are all in on this. And the finance team, who I just mentioned, have all reviewed these before they got to this point. Because there are sections that touch, the treasurer collectors department, the assessors department, as well as the accounting department and these two boards and my office.
So one thing we haven't talked about is how often do we review these for? Like we talked about the capital budget subcommittee being reviewed every 5 years, if not less. Is there some time that we want to lock that in of when the next review should be? Is it every other year, every third year, 5 years?
I'd say every 5 years at a maximum. 3 or 5.
Many things change, right?
Yeah.
So did you want to add a sentence? Similar to what we have in here?
Maybe all policy.
I know from my
Kind of
company,
hesitant to
we actually have
put-
a tracking form with versions and we, everything has to be reviewed every other year or every third year.
Yeah, I'm
Kind of lock it
hesitant to put a
down.
requirement in a policy to to review the policy.
So we'll add it.
Right, to put it in the
Yeah.
policy itself, yeah,
To review.
but policies should probably be reviewed every, 3 to 5 years, and it should be written in some,
Is this,
overarching, policy, if you will, right, that says we're gonna be looking at
So
these.
something like a should be reviewed.
I think there'd just be
in
like the
3,
select board
no more
operating
than-
procedure, like policy or procedure.
I was looking to see if there's a sentence I could steal. Yeah, that basically says that, it makes sense to add it in now. Does anyone want a wordsmith?
I was saying not put it in this one.
Oh, put it in the next one.
No, put it in like the select board, like operating. Is kind of like either the handbook or however, like the policies and the select board operating procedures or whatever the name of them is.
Policy, like, well, you're gonna make a separate policy about.
A policy to review the policies?
No, like they have like the
Yeah.
unofficial, like, I think it's like or no, we did formally review it. The select board operating procedure, or is that, whatever the name of that document is. To kind of say like the select board and the role of liaisons, the role of this, and then like the select board periodically would review every 2 to whatever.
So this is what.
Is it in there?
Yeah, there we go. So
That was
put
fast.
something in there. Yeah, so something in there, but not necessarily for today because it's not necessarily.
Oh, yeah, we don't want to do it. Yeah. Okay.
So Kristen, I'm going to call for a vote for
Sure.
that budget transfer language because we can vote on that and then we can get it changed, cleaned up, and we can all sign it and you get it posted because you want to get it signed, right?
Right.
So, all right. So I'll entertain.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Done.
So this policy is done.
From
Well,
our
we haven't voted
perspective
yet.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't voted.
We haven't voted yet.
Oh, I'm
We made the
sorry.
motion, but we didn't. No big deal. I'm easy.
Okay, I didn't realize you hadn't voted yet.
We voted, Kristen. Didn't we just
voted, I
vote?
thought No, we didn't. I asked for a second and I said, is there any more discussion? Kirby, did we vote this?
No.
I don't think we voted yet.
Kirby's saying no.
Okay, so I believe Wes made the motion, Dave seconded?
No, you made the motion.
I made the motion. Wes second, someone, okay. Okay, roll call vote. Priya,
Sundaram, I.
Wes,
Folks, aye.
Dave,
McCann and I.
Hilberg, aye. Both boards have approved it. Okay, as amended. That's right. You're right. I did make the motion. It was so long ago. Oh, my
It's
word.
the heat, it's the heat.
Honestly, as soon as you said we can't fix the air conditioning, all of a sudden I like felt like it went up 10 degrees. All in my head. I know that. I was like,
You can fix it in like 3 days.
So, Mike, is this a wet signature or an e-sig?
We can do digital signature on this.
Okay.
Okay, the next thing that we'll be discussing is the capital budget committee charter, which is pretty short and sweet. So I'll entertain any discussion. Mike, do you want to walk, just for the benefit of the public, walk us through kind of what this says?
Sure. So, from your meeting 2 weeks ago, I think you took a vote to have a subcommittee go look at this. So Gary and I, we emailed back and forth a couple of times. We met in person, spent some time. We pulled capital budget committees from maybe 8 or 9 different towns. We looked those over. We pulled from some of the best that we saw out there. We looked at, a lot of communities have adopted from the state law and, to formalize a formal CIP or capital improvement plan or budget committee, a capital committee. It was decided, it was discussed here to do it as a policy rather than a town bylaw to give you a little more flexibility, especially when you're just starting this. So we leaned more towards some of the towns that were doing it more as a policy, with the intent that the select board and the finance committee were leaning towards. From there, Gary and I both agreed that it seemed reasonable to increase the capital amount from 5,000 to 10,000 and a useful life of more than 5 years. Excuse me. More than 5 years. And that what was discussed was that 5 members was probably a reasonable number, comprised as was presented in a draft last time, or at least verbalized, that it be 2 members of the select board or their appointees, 2 members from the FinCom or their appointees, and the town administrator. We started from that as groundwork, and then we set out a timeline. I don't know if you want to talk at all to the timeline that we set, or if you want me to keep reading, Gary. I don't want to kind of take over the show.
No, you
here.
can keep reading. You're doing a great job at it.
Hold on a second. You just wait.
So what we talked about was probably 2, possibly 3 meetings of the year for the capital committee, abbreviated CAPCOM. And let's see, to review the plan as it exists by September 30th. And there already is an existing, basically a 20-year plan. And then on or about October 1st for written communication to go out to board and committee chairs, as well as department heads, asking them to review the current capital plan, and then for them to submit any updates or changes by December 1st to the capital committee. And then the capital committee would review current dollar amount on the capital plan for not more than 5 years from the previous date, and then to present that to both the FinCom and the select board, either separately or in a joint meeting, a recommendation on the town's capital amount for that upcoming year. And that review we talked about happening not more than every 5 years. Let's see. The FinCom providing a recommendation, the select board voting on the proposal, and then that going to Capital Saturday. If on a particular year there wasn't going to be a Capital Saturday, then let's see. Got ahead of myself.
We would have a joint meeting.
Yeah, I was saying, does this help at all or no? It kind of lays it out.
Yeah. One thing we did talk about was that any item not on the capital plan, that it, as of Capital Saturday, not be permitted to go forward to the annual town meeting warrant unless it was a valid emergency or as approved and accepted by the capital committee. In other words, trying to get people to stick to the capital plan without working things in late in the in the year. I think that's about where we ended up. Anything to add to that, Gary, that I've missed?
I just want to reiterate that going from 5,000 to 10,000, since we've had a capital plan in place, we've been $5,000, been more than 10 years. So it's a valid time to take a look at that and to, we recommend increasing it to 10,000. We're also recommending to review it no more than every 5 years to see where we stand. And as Mike said, and not to exceed 5 years, not to be less than 5 years of usable life. So if something is only going to last for 3 years, it's not something we want on the capital plan.
No,
And then
that makes sense.
we did indicate that, some years there might not be a capital Saturday. So we have language about a joint meeting. If not, that would be, I guess, a public meeting also. But I think that covers it.
Okay. All right. Any other comments from people on Zoom or? John, you're
Can I
here.
ask a question?
Yes.
I just have a question about the quorum. It says a quorum will consist of half of the appointed members plus one. So like a quorum's 3, right? Why wouldn't we just call it out as 3? Is there a reason? I guess I'm confused because I realize the appointed members are probably the FinCom members and the select board members, although I would think the town administrator would be appointed, right? If you're a voting member.
Right.
So if you do half of the members, that's 2.5 people, which makes it difficult. So 2.5 people plus 1 is 3.5 people. So you really need 4 for a quorum then.
Why not just say a quorum will consist of 3 appointed members?
Yeah,
Call
or
it a day.
a majority.
So one of the reasons we did it this way was we're recommending 5 people, 2 FinCom, 2 select board and the town administrator. If we decide to change that to, 7 people or 9 people, and the idea was it's always 1 plus, half.
Can it just be a simple majority? Of the
Well,
board?
you're gonna have to change the terms anyways to 5 members, why wouldn't you just change them to quorum? You could change 5 to 7, then you could change the quorum from, or it could be like the FinCom bylaw, you decide to make it expandable.
Well, what's the definition of a simple majority? Am I off base
Like
there?
3 would be.
Right, but I'm just thinking if we just say a quorum will consist of a simple majority of the appointed members, that covers any changes. We
Does
never
it
have to
cover
deal
an
with
even
the
number? If we end up with just 4 people,
Majority would be 3.
Yeah,
still.
the simple
Okay.
majority would still be 3. Yeah.
That's
I mean, just an idea. It's.
And I actually have a question too.
Oh, your battery dying?
No. So Mike, could you be that plus 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I have a question about the funding sources. Is there a reason, it says April 1st, joint select board FinCom meeting on funding sources. So April 1st is awfully late in the budget. And last year, I actually thought the funding sources worked out and I thought the select board agreed. But worked out well doing it on budget Saturday. So why would we wait till April? I mean, I think from a FinCom perspective, at least for me, if I know what the funding sources are in February, as I am then trying to take in the rest of this budget and do votes, I have things in context. I understand what we have for free cash and what we're using and what we're doing for debt, which would have a direct relation to budget, right? And taxes. So is there a reason you guys made it April 1st?
Hopefully it says no later than April 1st.
Well, it
The
says
idea
approximate.
was we
Yeah, it
wanted,
says it is in a tilde. What
can
if
make it
it,
no
is that just for the final determination of funding sources?
We kind of did the final determination. We did it on February. We did it at the Capitol Saturday meeting and then it just stopped. There was a couple changes we made. There was a couple small, there's a couple of things that we may have done. We were thinking we were going to do taxation and then doing free cash, but.
And it's like, that recommendations. I mean, if all of a sudden you're not gonna have free cash to pay for something and it's gonna be bonded, then it might be a different recommendation, you might have to take a different vote, right? Like I might not support something that has to be debt, but I might support something,
Sorry, I thought I was talking loud enough. Sorry. So anyways, if it's going to be debt, I might not support it, but it was free cash. Oh, well, we're not going to, I might support it. So I think that we should probably do the funding sources earlier than that before we take our warrant votes.
So it says mid to late February, Capcom to meet and review and update, and then March 15th input to FinCom. So that's 2 to 4 weeks. Do we just tighten that up? That input to FinCom by the end of February, and then early March.
So last year we did it at Capital Saturday.
Oh.
The reason we don't want to do it that day.
What if-
Oh, Priya's jumping in. Sorry, Priya.
No, I think doing it by Capital Saturday, I think that worked out good last time. I don't know if we can stick to that in February.
Well, there's no reason that it can't be changed if we get new information.
Right. It's not etched in stone and it doesn't go to print, but at least it gives you a starting point. And if you've got 35 items and you pick your funding sources, the reality is you're not changing your 35 items because most of them are going to be what they are. You got a backhoe, it's probably going to be bonding, right? That's just the way it's going to be. But some small changes can take place, and they did right up until the day before we went to print. We made changes.
Right.
But the overall funding sources being done on that day, I think is everyone, including the select board, a much better handle on, everything in context.
Would you be okay with saying no later than April 1st? We want to make sure it's early, that it's able to get into the warrant. And you said, Maria, some things did change along the way. The large majority was done on budget Saturday. But again, there was tweaks, things were I don't remember if things were added or not, but things change. What we want to do is make sure that all the decisions are made prior to going to the warrant, whenever that is. If it's April 1st is too late, then what is the right date?
I mean, I think we can change it as this goes. This is literally, policy can change with a simple vote.
I have a little bit of the same concern as Gary but I also agree that it worked out really well having it done by Capital Saturday. But if we also put, decisions by Capital Saturday, but not later than end of February, because now we're going to print with something where last year we didn't have it in print, so we weren't constrained to something.
Right.
If we put no later than, it's in print, that means no later than. So I think we should have the target being maybe Capital Saturday and then, done by end of February or done by 15th of March or something.
15th input to FinCom that would be, I would think March 15th is even better because we're still voting. I just think April 1st you're right up against a deadline. So now if we're voting budgets and warrant articles and you're at April 1st, it's too late. So if you say no later than March 15th, but knowing that we're going to try to target Capital Saturday, I think that's better.
So what if you tighten up input to FinCom? Since the Capcom is mid to late February, input to FinCom should be by first week of March. And then why can't capital plan present to the select board and the boards agree on funding sources all happen at the same time? Like, is there a reason I haven't done this before. So is there a reason that's broken out into two steps? Like
It's just that history, we used to have a joint meeting right before the warrant closed to do that final. And it's late.
Yeah.
We're trying to bring it earlier.
Yeah.
I thought April 1st, we thought April 1st would be okay. If it's March 1st, we want to have, I think it should say, and you're right, no later than a certain date.
You can do capital plan presented to the select board, potential joint meeting with Capcom. That's going to be tough to get through.
So
Capcom.
we do have a lot of time, I guess, until April. This doesn't necessarily account for the fall town meeting. And so I don't want to let perfect get in the way of progress, perfection get in the way of progress. And so, I'm fine with it, for now, because it's a policy and it's just a quick, here's our updated calendar for the perfect semantics. I don't know if we need to iron it out right now.
I think just by adding the words no later than a certain date, cover it. But once I agree with you,
Yeah. I also, on my notes here, just wrote final agreement on funding sources so that I think this verse should just say, all right, but April 1st, we're not changing it again unless something crazy, happens. And
that gets into the emergency discussion that, boil sudden, let's go in town hall, on April 15th or something.
Yeah, because Wes, this actually won't apply to special. I have to believe we're not going to be doing major pre-planned capital items at STM. Yeah. We might, but typically it only applies to ATM.
Not special anymore. It's all.
Oh, sorry.
And if that's the case, a lot of our timelines that we have in print only apply to annual.
Yeah.
The reality is we don't know what, you don't know if you're gonna do it on October 15th and November 15th and December, we've done fall town meetings, at any time over 3 months. So you can't really do a timeline for that. I mean, the expectation is you set the fall town meeting date and then we're gonna work back from that and we're gonna know if there needs to be anything that's capital. So,
I mean, I would expect that there's any capital in the fall town meeting. It's an emergency thing, right? I don't think finance committee would approve anything that's standard.
All right, for the purpose is of, it's 9:18 and finishing this up. We decided that we were going to just add the words no later than April 1st.
So remove the tilde and just say no later than.
Yeah, remove the tilde and then no later than. And then we were also going to try to move input to FinCom up to early March instead of approximately, around March 15th.
well, yeah, I mean, what is this input to FinCom? And we've already gotten our input on budget Saturday. On
Yes,
capital Saturday.
the Capcom was going to then meet, review, update the plan, and then bring their update back to the FinCom. That's why.
Okay.
Just to have time to percolate, but I think,
No later than March 15th.
So if we just change all the tildes to no later than,
yeah, I think that works. I love the word a tilde. It's a fun word. A tilde. Sounds like a dance. Is everybody okay with that? All good?
Yep.
All right, then I move, oh no, John, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, John. Yep, you've been so patient.
Also, I just, thanks.
Yeah.
John Markowitz, 71 Patch Hill Road. I just know, so has this been approved? Is this still draft and still needs to be voted?
Mhm.
Okay, so, I would just like to ask consideration. I'd like to offer my time. If the select board would like to designate a designee, I would like to offer my time and services to be that individual. Part of it is your board is short a person. Your board is full of new people and your board is full of people that have full-time jobs. I have a significant amount of financial expertise. I have a strong knowledge of some of the capital requirements of the town. I've gone through this process over the last 3 years. So I'd like to offer my services to the select board as a designee. Thank you.
I believe that we felt that the town administrator should be the 5th member and the chair, simply because they've got their finger on the pulse of everything going on
I
in
think
all
we're getting
departments.
Kristen,
So right now we're trying to vote on the budget charter, and then we would discuss the appointees from the select board.
It actually says right here, oh, you want to be one of the select board appointees. I misunderstood you.
That's
I'm
right.
so sorry.
That's right.
I misunderstood you. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we can consider that when it's time to vote members.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I move to accept the capital budget committee charter as amended.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote, Priya.
Sundaram, I.
Wes.
Folks, aye.
Dave.
McKenna and I.
Hilberg, aye. Are you guys voting this?
So we're not, because Tony's going to be on it with the input from Gary. We talked about it. We're just going to wait for our July meeting because then we'll have 7 members. One word change is one thing. I would like to have a bigger conversation with the full committee. July 11th, I think we meet.
Okay.
And then we'll vote it. I don't anticipate any issues, given the input that we've had with this.
Well, you know what, if you wind up amending something and then bring it back for our consideration, no harm, no foul. That's all done.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Okay, now we're going to discuss appointees. So John mentioned that, so first let me just open it up to the board. Has anybody been considering this, and would, people looking forward to being part of this committee?
Well, John put out a list of asking people to sign up for committees.
Mhm.
So I did put my name in for that. I don't know if other folks have responded to you.
Kristen, it's Priya. I worked with Gary in the FinCom with the capital piece, so I had my name on it as well.
And what
Okay.
about you? Did you?
No, this
That's fine,
was
that's
not
fine.
something I was going to, yeah, I haven't filled mine in yet.
Yeah, I didn't fill mine in either.
Yep,
Dave did.
and Dave did.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. So in light of what, John has presented, that he doesn't have the knowledge and experience, where two of us have suggested they'd like to be appointed to the board. How do you feel about that? Is it something you'd like to entertain, taking advantage of John's experience? Or do you both feel strongly about wanting to be on the committee as a member of the board? I don't know how else to ask you this question.
Kristen, I
Do we
think
need to
my
discuss that?
point is, I'll give you what I'm thinking. I've worked with Gary on this before, but how else am I ever going to learn more about this if I'm not part of it? So I want to be part of it. Thank you.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, so the question comes to me, how strongly do I feel about it? And so I did put my name there. Do we need to decide tonight?
Well, we could go either way, where the FinCom is going to take it back and possibly bring us some, if you haven't voted it yet, it's not set in stone. I mean, we could wait.
Any changes, but.
So
Right.
just a technicality, we're the only board that can create a committee. And so we can take input from other boards, but we're the only ones that can create committees per Mass General Law.
Oh, I understand, but I'm going to respect their input.
That's
all.
fine. No,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to the committee was just created because we voted it.
Right.
Okay.
No, I do understand that, but I mean, you also know that I feel really strongly about inclusivity and giving people a chance to contribute. And so if the FinCom wants to come back and say, we've got some great ideas, I'm not against
that's
it.
fine.
Made that,
Yeah,
so I would not hold, we've already appointed our two people that we want on the committee. So I don't anticipate any change to this, once it's presented. If it changed your timeline, I mean, I would rather discuss it with 7 people than have the 3 of us vote.
sure, totally fine. I get that. Okay, so you know what? I'm actually thinking, no, we don't necessarily have to vote it tonight. And the reason would be that we haven't shaken out all the rest of the liaisons. So would you feel comfortable? We're gonna be talking liaison at our next meeting, and Kelly was kind enough to put together this lovely spreadsheet so we can all kind of indicate what we want and then see how it shakes out. Okay. All right, so we'll take this up again. We'll take this up again at the next meeting then. Okay. Yeah, because I think it actually makes sense to see how all the rest of it shakes out and see where we are. Okay. All right, so we're gonna pass over that.
Kristen.
Sure. Yeah.
One thing I would add to this is I think for the capital committee, you want some consistency over a number of years. So I would be able to provide that.
Mhm.
Just something else to think about. That's all.
Yeah, and Priya pointed out that she had worked with Gary last year, so we do have that little bit of consistency right there. You
So
know,
I
one
mean,
person.
I've worked with Gary before and I know Tony very well.
Right. Okay, thanks. All righty.
Are we done with the FinCom?
Yep,
thing?
you are.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you.
Go home to your air conditioning. Sure. See ya.
So then I'll move to adjourn. If we're past
Do we have to sign all of these in open session or?
No, those are just get signed whenever, kind of like the sign now. They can be whenever.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
Because we approved them and then it's just signing them whenever.
I would like to just sign them and pass them in a circle and just get it done.
Well,
I mean,
we can still adjourn.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Nobody wants, that's totally fine. All right. I'll entertain a movement to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of adjourning?
So that I.
McCann and I.
Hilbert, I know, I can't get used to that. I mean, I cannot get used to that. All in favor and all opposed. Oh my gosh, someday. All right, meeting adjourns and let's
Thanks,
get this done.
Bye.
Bye, Priya.
Do you want to give them half? I guess I can go that way.
This way we don't miss any.